Welcome to deep sleep, where worries sweep away and dreams will stay. Here, stories unfold gently and rest runs deep. I'm your host, guiding you to peaceful light. Thanks for choosing to be here with me in this quiet space where sleep comes free. Tonight, we travel to ancient China. We'll meet a young scholar. His name was Wang. We'll discover a girl who laughed. Her laughter was like silver bells. This is a story about love. Love that grows slowly. Love that blooms like flowers. Before we begin, let's breathe. Close your eyes if you can. Take a deep breath in. Hold it for a moment. Now breathe out slowly. Feel your body relaxing. Let your shoulders drop. Relax your jaw. Tonight's story will guide you to sleep. There's no hurry, no rush, just gentle words. Words that flow like water. As we journey together, let your mind drift. If you fall asleep, that's perfect. This story is designed to carry you there, gently, peacefully. Are you ready? Let's enter the garden of sleep together. Long ago, in a village where morning mist kissed the rooftops, there lived a gentle young man named Wang. Wang loved quiet things. The whisper of pages turning, the soft scratch of his brush on paper, the way sunlight moved across his small room like a lazy cat. His world was small and peaceful, a courtyard where his mother grew vegetables, a room filled with books and scrolls, a wooden desk by the window where he wrote poetry about clouds and seasons. Every morning, Wang would wake with the birds. He would wash his face with cool water from a ceramic bowl. Then he would sit at his desk and read, while the world slowly awakened around him. His mother would bring him tea in a small clay cup. The tea was always the perfect temperature, always tasted of jasmine. She would place it quietly beside his books, like an offering to the morning. Wang's life moved slowly, like honey dripping from a spoon. Peaceful days flowing into peaceful nights. Reading by lamplight until his eyelids grew heavy. Sleeping deeply until dawn painted his walls gold again. But sometimes, when the wind carried the scent of unfamiliar flowers, Wang would pause in his reading. He would look out his window at the world beyond his courtyard, and he would wonder, What dreams bloom in gardens he had never seen? In his heart, something stirred, soft as a flower bud opening, patient as roots reaching toward water. He did not know that love was already growing, invisible as moonbeams, in the garden of his soul. Spring arrived like a gentle guest, bringing gifts of warm air and cherry blossoms. And with spring came the festival of lights. On this magical night, the whole town would bloom with lanterns, red paper flowers glowing in the darkness, golden light spilling onto cobblestone streets like liquid honey. Wang's cousin Wu came to visit, his eyes bright with excitement. "Come with me tonight," Wu said. "The festival is like a garden of stars. Music and laughter everywhere, food that tastes like celebration itself." Wang's mother hesitated, her protective love like a careful gardener tending a precious plant. But Wu promised to watch over his cousin, and finally, she nodded. As the sun set, painting the sky in shades of rose and lavender, the two young men walked toward the festival lights. The town had transformed into a wonderland. Every doorway glowed with paper lanterns. The air smelled of sweet cakes and blooming flowers. Families strolled together, their faces warm in the gentle light. Wang walked slowly, drinking in the beauty. Street musicians played melodies that floated on the evening air like butterflies. Children ran between the stalls, their laughter bright as wind chimes. But just as they reached the heart of the celebration, a servant came running. Wu's father needed him urgently. With apologies and worried glances, Wu had to return home. Wang stood alone in the flowing crowd. For a moment, he considered turning back to his quiet room, his familiar books. But something in the night air whispered, "Stay." The lanterns seemed to pulse with gentle invitation. The music called to him, like a distant garden singing. So Wang walked on, alone but not lonely, into the magical heart of the festival. As Wang wandered through the festival's gentle chaos, the world seemed painted in soft light and shadow. Lanterns swayed like glowing fruit on invisible trees. The air was sweet with the perfume of night-blooming jasmine. And then, like a flower suddenly blooming in fast motion, he saw her. A girl moved through the crowd, like morning mist. She held a single plum blossom in her delicate fingers. Her silk dress was the color of new leaves. Her hair was arranged with jade pins that caught the lantern light. But it was her expression that stopped Wang's heart. She was trying not to laugh. Her eyes sparkled with hidden joy, her lips curved upward, as if the entire world were a delightful secret meant only for her. Wang forgot how to breathe, forgot how to walk. The festival continued around him, but he existed only in this moment, watching this girl who seemed to glow with inner light. She noticed him staring. Instead of looking away shyly, she met his gaze directly. Her almost smile became a full, radiant laugh. She turned to her maid and said, just loud enough for Wang to hear, "Look at that young man. He stares like someone who's just discovered stars." And then she let the plum blossom fall from her fingers. It drifted to the ground like a pink snowflake, like a message written in petals. She walked away, laughing softly. But her laughter wasn't mocking. It was joyful, pure, like water bubbling over stones in a secret garden. Wang stood frozen for endless moments. Then, moving as if in a dream, he bent down and picked up the plum blossom. It was still fresh, still fragrant, still warm from her touch. He held it carefully, as if it were made of crystallized starlight. The girl had vanished into the crowd, like morning dew disappearing at sunrise. Wang searched everywhere, but she was gone. As he walked home through the quiet streets, the festival lights fading behind him, Wang was no longer the same person. Something had awakened in his heart, something that would change everything. Wang returned home carrying more than just a flower. He carried a feeling that had no name, a warmth that settled in his chest like a small, glowing ember. He placed the plum blossom under his pillow and lay down. But sleep would not come. Instead, he stared at the ceiling and saw her face. Those laughing eyes, that mysterious smile, the way she had let the flower fall, like a gift from the sky. Days passed like clouds drifting across a summer sky. Wang tried to read his books, but the words meant nothing. He tried to write poetry, but every poem became about her. His mother brought him meals, but food tasted like nothing. She brought him tea, but he forgot to drink it. Wang was disappearing, like morning mist touched by sunlight, growing paler and thinner each day. His mother sat beside his bed, her worry a tangible thing. "My son," she whispered, "tell me what troubles you." But how could Wang explain? How could he say that he was dying of love for a stranger, that his heart had been captured by a girl who laughed like silver bells? When Wu came to visit and saw his cousin's condition, he was shocked. Wang was like a plant kept from sunlight, slowly fading away. "What happened to you that night?" Wu asked gently. And finally, Wang told him about the girl, about the flower, about the feeling that had taken root in his heart and was growing like a vine, beautiful but overwhelming. Wu listened with kind eyes. When Wang finished, Wu smiled and took his cousin's thin hand. "This problem has a solution," he said. "I will find this girl for you. I promise." For the first time in weeks, Wang smiled. Hope bloomed in his chest, like a flower opening to morning sun. Wu tried his best to find the mysterious girl, but searching for one person in a large town was like looking for a specific star in the vast night sky. So Wu told a gentle lie. "I found her," he said. "She lives with her family in a hidden valley in the mountains. She's waiting for you." Wang's strength returned, like water flowing back into a dried riverbed. He began to eat again, to smile again, to dream of gardens and laughter. But as weeks passed and Wu didn't return, Wang's patience wore thin, like silk in strong wind. One morning, before dawn painted the sky, Wang rose from his bed. He took the dried plum blossom from under his pillow and tucked it into his sleeve. Then, quiet as a shadow, he left his house and began walking toward the mountains. Wang had never traveled alone before, but love gave him courage. He walked through forests that smelled of pine and wild herbs. He followed streams that sang gentle songs over smooth stones. The sun climbed higher, painting everything in gold and green. Birds called from hidden branches. Butterflies danced among wildflowers. After many hours of walking, Wang found himself in a valley, so beautiful it seemed like something from a dream. Mountains rose on all sides, like gentle giants. A clear stream wandered through the valley floor, reflecting sky and clouds. The air was soft and sweet, filled with the perfume of unknown flowers. And there, nestled among flowering trees, like jewels in a green silk scarf, Wang saw a small cluster of houses. His heart began to beat faster. Somewhere in this magical place, she was waiting. As Wang approached the little village, he noticed one house in particular. It stood slightly apart from the others, surrounded by willow trees that moved like dancers in the gentle breeze. The garden around this house was extraordinary. Every flower Wang had ever imagined seemed to grow there. Roses climbed wooden trellises. Jasmine vines cascaded over stone walls. Fruit trees, heavy with blossoms, creating natural canopies of pink and white. Behind the house, peach and apricot trees bloomed in abundance. A bamboo grove whispered secrets to the wind. The sound of birds singing floated through the air, like invisible music. Wang found a smooth stone across from the beautiful house and sat down to rest. The afternoon sun was warm on his shoulders. The stream made peaceful sounds nearby. As he sat there, breathing in the perfume of countless flowers, Wang felt more at peace than he had in months. This hidden valley felt magical, separate from the ordinary world, a place where dreams might actually come true. After a while, he saw movement in the garden across from him. A young woman emerged from behind the peach trees. She held a single apricot blossom in her hand, as if she were about to pin it in her hair. The woman looked up and saw Wang sitting on the stone. Their eyes met across the small space between the houses. Wang's heart nearly stopped. It was her, the girl from the festival, the girl with the laughing eyes. She stared at him for a long, quiet moment. Then, instead of pinning the flower in her hair, she smiled. That same mysterious smile he remembered. She tucked the flower into her sleeve and disappeared back into the garden, like a butterfly vanishing among the blossoms. Wang sat on the stone, hardly daring to breathe. It was really her. Somehow, impossibly, he had found the right place. As the sun began to set, painting the valley in shades of gold and rose, an elderly woman emerged from the house with the willow trees. She walked slowly, leaning on a wooden cane. When she noticed Wang sitting on the stone, she approached him with gentle curiosity. "Young man," she said in a voice like rustling leaves, "you've been sitting here for hours. Are you lost? Are you hungry?" Wang stood and bowed politely. "Respected elder, I'm looking for family members, but I seem to have lost my way." The old woman smiled kindly. "You look tired and hungry. Why don't you come inside? You can have some food and rest. Tomorrow, you can continue searching." Wang's heart leaped with joy. This was exactly what he had hoped for. Wang followed the old woman through a gate carved with images of flowers and birds. Inside, he found himself in the most beautiful garden he had ever seen. White stones formed winding pathways between flower beds. Rose petals had fallen onto the stones, creating carpets of pink. and red. The air was heavy with the scent of jasmine and honeysuckle. The old woman led Wang into a house that was simple but elegant. Everything was clean and peaceful. Through the windows, he could see flowering trees swaying gently in the evening breeze. "Please, sit down," the old woman said, gesturing to a comfortable chair. "I'll have someone prepare food for you." As they waited, she asked about his family. When Wang mentioned his mother's family name, the old woman's eyes lit up with recognition. "Then you must be my nephew," she exclaimed. "Your mother's my younger sister. I am Mrs. Chin. We haven't seen each other for many years because we live so far from town." Wang was amazed, so he really had found the right place. Soon, a young maid brought delicious food, rice cooked perfectly, vegetables that tasted of sunshine. Everything was much better than Wang had expected in such a remote place. As they ate, Mrs. Chin told Wang about her life. "I never had children of my own," she said, "but I'm raising a girl whose family couldn't care for her. She's sweet, but she laughs too much. Everything amuses her." Wang's heart began to beat faster. "She should meet you," Mrs. Chin continued. "It would be good for her to know her cousin." After dinner, Mrs. Chin called out, "Tell Yingning to come in and meet her cousin." Soon, Wang could hear soft laughter from outside the door. It was musical and joyful, like wind chimes singing in a gentle breeze. Finally, the maid returned, gently guiding a young woman into the room. The girl had her sleeve pressed to her mouth, trying to control her giggles. It was definitely her. She wore a simple dress of pale blue silk. Her hair was arranged casually, but she was just as beautiful as Wang remembered. And she was laughing, not loudly, but constantly. Her eyes sparkled with amusement at everything around her. "Yingning," Mrs. Chin said gently, "this is your cousin, Wang. Please behave properly." Yingning tried to compose herself, but she couldn't stop smiling. She managed to bow politely, but then burst into soft laughter again. Wang bowed in return. "Sister," he said formally, "it's a pleasure to meet you." But he couldn't take his eyes off her. She seemed to find joy in everything: his clothes, his manner of speaking, even the way he held his teacup. Her laughter wasn't mocking or cruel. It was pure delight, as if the entire world were a wonderful surprise, created just for her enjoyment. The next morning, Wang woke early and explored the garden behind the house. It was even more beautiful in daylight. Flowers of every color created a living tapestry. Butterflies danced among the blossoms. Bees hummed contentedly. Suddenly, he heard rustling above him. Looking up, he saw Yingning sitting in the branches of a tall tree, surrounded by flowers, like a fairy in an enchanted forest. When she saw Wang looking up at her, she burst into delighted laughter. She laughed so hard, she nearly fell from the tree. "Careful," Wang called. "You'll hurt yourself." But Yingning couldn't stop laughing. As she tried to climb down, still giggling, she lost her grip and tumbled gently to the soft grass below. Wang rushed to help her up. As he took her hand, he felt a warmth like sunshine flowing between them. "Do you remember this?" he asked, showing her the dried plum blossom from the festival. Yingning examined the flower with curiosity. "It's all dried up," she said. "Why did you keep it?" "Because you gave it to me," Wang said gently. "Ever since that night, I couldn't stop thinking about you. I kept this flower because it was my only connection to you." Yingning listened with wide, wondering eyes. "You got sick because of me?" "Because I love you," Wang said simply. "I hope you might learn to care for me too." Yingning smiled brightly. "Of course I care about you. When you leave, I'll pick lots of flowers from the garden for you to take home." Wang realized she didn't understand what he meant, but somehow that didn't matter. Her innocence was part of her magic. What mattered was that he had found her in this garden of wonders, surrounded by flowers and laughter. Love was blooming, like spring itself. When people from Wang's village arrived looking for him, they found a young man transformed. Gone was the pale, lonely scholar. In his place stood someone glowing with happiness. Wang asked Mrs. Qin if Yingning could come home with him to meet his mother. Mrs. Qin was delighted by this idea. "I would love for Yingning to see more of the world," she said, "and to meet her aunt." As they prepared to leave, Yingning packed carefully. She chose her favorite dress, her jade hairpins, and a small pouch of flower seeds from the garden. The journey back to Wang's village was like a celebration. Yingning had never traveled so far from home. Everything interested her. The changing landscape, the different flowers along the road, the other travelers they met. She asked constant questions and laughed at Wang's answers. Her joy was so infectious that even the serious men who had come to find Wang found themselves smiling. When they arrived at Wang's house, his mother was waiting anxiously. She was relieved to see her son safe and amazed by the beautiful, laughing girl he had brought with her. After some confusion about family relationships, Wang's mother accepted that Yingning was indeed their relative. More importantly, She could see how much happiness the girl brought to her son. Despite some mysterious aspects to Yingning's background that Wu revealed, Wang's mother decided to welcome her into their family, whatever her origins. Yingning was clearly kind-hearted and loving. They planned a simple wedding. On their wedding day, Yingning couldn't stop laughing long enough for the formal ceremonies, so they had a quiet, private celebration instead. And that was perfect. Their love didn't need grand ceremonies. It bloomed naturally, like flowers in a well-tended garden. Wang and Yingning settled into married life, like two streams, joining to become one river. Their love grew deeper with each passing day. Yingning had a passion for flowers. Soon, their entire courtyard was filled with blooming plants. She planted flowers along every walkway, around the well, near every window. Their house became famous in the village for its incredible gardens. Visitors would come from far away just to see the variety of plants Yingning had collected. Children would play among the blossoms, their laughter echoing through the courtyard. As seasons passed, Wang learned that Yingning came from a magical family. Her mother had been a fox spirit, a creature of dreams and moonlight. But this didn't frighten Wang. It explained why Yingning was so full of joy, so connected to the natural world. When Yingning told him the truth about herself, Wang simply took her hand and said, "You are my wife, whatever you are, wherever you came from. That doesn't change how I feel about you." Together, they helped lay Yingning's adoptive mother to rest properly, Mrs. Qin. After that ceremony, something in Yingning changed. She became more peaceful, though no less joyful. The following spring, Yingning gave birth to a son. The baby was completely human, but he inherited his mother's joyful nature. From the time he was tiny, he would smile and laugh at everyone he met. Years passed like gentle seasons in a well-loved garden. Wang and Yingning's love grew like the flowers they tended together. Deeper roots, stronger stems, more beautiful blooms each year. Their son grew up running through the flower gardens, his laughter mixing with his mother's, like harmonious music. He became a scholar, like his father, but with his mother's warm, generous heart. Wang would sometimes ask Yingning what she missed most about her magical past. "Nothing," she would always answer, smiling as she tended her roses. "Everything I need is here." And Wang knew she was telling the truth. Yingning had found where she belonged, not in the world of spirits and magic, but in the simple, human world. of love and family and flowers. Their garden bloomed year after year. Neighbors would bring their children to play among the blossoms. The sound of laughter, children's laughter, Yingning's gentle laughter, the baby's delighted giggles filled their home like sunshine. Sometimes, when the wind was just right and the jasmine was in bloom, visitors claimed they could hear the faint sound of laughter, carried on the breeze, not wild or uncontrolled, but gentle and content, the sound of someone who had finally found their way home. And so, dear listeners, our story settles like petals on still water. Wang and Yingning found their happiness in the simplest, most beautiful way, through love that grew slowly, patiently, like flowers in a well-tended garden. As you drift towards sleep tonight, let your mind wander through Yingning's garden. Smell the jasmine on the night air. Feel the soft petals beneath your feet. Hear the gentle sound of laughter and love. Take a deep breath now. Let your shoulders sink into your bed, like roots settling into rich earth. Your breathing is becoming slower, deeper, like the gentle rhythm of flowers blooming in moonlight. Sweet dreams, dear ones. May your sleep be filled with gardens of peace and the quiet joy of knowing you are exactly where you belong. Until tomorrow, rest well in love's gentle garden. Good night.